only 4 days ago did I ask you guys to basically design this island. I asked you guys in this community post here to comment below what you want added to this island. I had done this many times before. Here's an old image of the previous island where I did this before in, and of course here's the default island. We're gonna come through here and we're gonna add basically every single one of these comments. Well, I've already done that, but that's what I said I was going to do in the community post here. You guys gave a lot of different comments, from a lovely overgrown castle to a little pumpkin farm with the treehouse nearby, to even something as crazy as Trixie's Cutie Mark in pixel art and a knife creature, whatever that is. Unfortunately, I did not add the knife creature because I wasn't sure what that even meant or how to even go about doing that. But basically all of these ideas I have added onto the island. So let's go ahead and hop onto Ponytown here and see what that island looks like now after all of this time. So all we have to do, of course, is go to the party boat and poof, we're here. In this spot right here, I figured this is probably the best place for the boat because it's by the beach and everything else. And I wanted to start this tour by talking about the mermaid reef because I had no idea how to do that, and the best idea I had was to just simply put a mermaid tail on a beach. So there you go, there's your mermaid reef, I guess. Best I could do for that, honestly, because I wasn't sure what that meant either. But we do have ourselves a treehouse over here. I thought instead of using oak trees or pine trees, which are used quite often, I figured maybe I could use palm trees instead because they're not used as often in treehouse builds. So we have this lovely little way to get up here, and it just has simply a chair and another chair with a book over here and everything. We can pick up that book and carry it with us because next to it, of course, is the pumpkin farm. As you can see, I added that pumpkin farm with the treehouse nearby. I think I actually did the pumpkin farm after the treehouse, but that's besides the point. And someone else also commented a snail farm. I wasn't quite sure what that meant either, so I figured I would just put in like these little snail things. Honestly, probably not the best looking snails in the game, but I tried, okay? It's just a little bread roll with a sparkler underneath. And I figured, okay, that's probably the best thing to do is to just throw snails into a garden or a farm that I already have. Someone, I believe, wanted a mushroom farm. Someone also wanted fairy circles, so I figured I would put that near the mushroom farm. As you can see, there's a few fairy circles here. Someone also wanted Fez in a tree or Fez and a tree, and it was really confusing. I didn't know if they wanted Fez to be in the tree or like next to the tree or what, so I just kind of put little baby Fez there inside the tree. I had a comment asking me to connect a lot of different pathways with stone and these little firefly lantern posts and stuff like that. They wanted me to connect certain builds with that for some reason. I have this one here separated, of course, because this is the banana temple, the temple for the banana, the sacred banana. And this also kind of adds up for the banana heaven that someone wanted. Someone wanted a banana heaven, and that was kind of the closest thing, I guess. And so yeah, there you go. It's a little banana temple. Moving on entirely, we have ourselves a heart-shaped pond with yellow roses around it. I decided to put the sandcastle in between there because for some reason someone commented sandcastle with water surrounding it, so I figured that's probably the best way to do it, is to just put a sandcastle and a pond or something. And so there you go. I hope you enjoyed your little sandcastle in some random thing. Here is a crystal bakery because someone said breaking bread crystal themed bakery or something like that, right? And I decided to make it overgrown and stuff so that it could match a little bit more to the island. As you'll see, this is a normal bakery with crystals, but it happens to be overgrown because if we come over here, we have that lovely little castle that is very much overgrown. I decided to kind of throw in Trixie's Cutie Mark there on the right of the throne or whatever, because maybe this can insinuate that maybe perhaps this was Trixie's castle at some point. Ooh, perhaps some lore. That's kind of crazy. But this is honestly one of the best like overgrown, like broken castles that I've done in a while. So thank you for the suggestion on that. Because I have like dirt here, I have rocks piled up in places where the roof had crumbled up. This old entrance you can't even really go through anymore because it's all crumbled up with like rocks and stuff. And this entrance, which you can barely fit through because it's all crumbled up and stuff. And of course, we have these pathways connecting all kinds of things. So if we come back a little bit more towards the beginning area, we have the fruit boat. Someone wanted a boat for fruit for some reason that could contain bananas or whatever. And so there you go. There is your fruit boat. Moving on up, we have ourselves a lovely little cozy wooden cabin. Someone wanted a wooden cabin, and this was the best idea I had, was to use these little wooden post things for the walls. and ultimately kind of make it look a little bit like a cabin. I decided I also added this right here, a fruit stand, because someone wanted like a fruit shop or something like that, and I figured maybe the person in the cabin also like collects a lot of fruit and farms or whatever else like that somewhere, maybe even off the island, because maybe that is their boat. That's right, it all comes full circle. And they farm off island, they come back to, I guess, this vacation home or something, or this random island, and they stock up on all this fruit, set it all up for sale. And speaking of which, if we come directly up it, here is the Twin Pines Market. I decided to call it the Twin Pine Market in like, because there's 2 pine trees here. Get it? Yeah, you get it. Because someone wanted a kiddie pool, but instead of balls, it is, or not a kiddie pool, but like a ball pit, but instead it has plushies and stuff. And so there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I threw in a couple of birds over here on the left. Not exactly my best work when it comes to animals in Ponytown, but I tried. Moving on, of course, we have 2 different stands here because as part of the Twin Peaks or whatever else like that. Decided to make this one thing where it's like metal shoppy kind of stuff. And I also stumbled upon this idea where I could put the well on top of the minecart, and it kind of makes it look a little bit more like a train. And I thought that looked really cool, and so I just kept it like that. But if we keep going, if we actually go all the way up here, we can actually go to one of my favorite parts of this build, which is the little hobbit house. I actually really like doing this. I hid a banana up there because I think someone wanted me to put a banana in a tree, and you can't physically put a banana in a tree, so I figured the next best thing was to just put it on top of the hobbit house. But this is really cool because I was able to use these wells in a pretty interesting way, because if I stuff these underneath the bushes, it kind of looks a little bit like a stone wall, like a little bit of like a cobblestone wall a little bit, and that kind of adds to the aesthetic of it and everything. Kind of makes it look more like it's what it's supposed to be, right? And I actually like that. I think it turned out pretty good. But if we move on here to the right a little bit, we have ourselves a very small playground because someone almost always requests some sort of playground whenever I do these kinds of videos. I have this ice cream cone here because someone wanted ice cream. I definitely love myself some strawberry ice cream, and I hope you do too. Obviously a little small sandbox, whatever this thing is. I don't remember what this is meant to be. I guess like a pull-up bar, or like maybe it's meant to be some kind of, I don't know, monkey bars or something. And then we have a swing here. Honestly, I cannot for the life of me remember why I put this here at all, but that's besides the point. I threw in some frogs because someone wanted some frogs, and here is the waterfall over here because someone wanted a lovely little waterfall here on the island. And also, for some reason, this was a very specific request, but someone wanted a bench overgrown by roses, so I also put that in here in this spot as well. And someone also wanted a little picnic spot going, of course, right here next to the waterfall and everything like that, because it adds to it and stuff. Here is something that I decided to add because someone requested me take the default house, the inside of the default house, and put it on the island and then cover it in a bunch of trees and a dense forest. I didn't think it would fit, so I decided to just put the default house, the actual house itself, and then put a dense forest around it. Looking back at it now, it probably would have fit, but it's kind of too late now, I suppose. But there you go. There is your house covered in a dense forest. And here is a very terribly made TARDIS over here on the far right. So moving on, we have, of course, this little house. Someone wanted a house that had like a bunch of plants and stuff in it, and maybe even overgrown a little bit. There was a lot of like overgrown type requests in this video for some reason in the community post. A lot of people wanted some very overgrown stuff for some reason. And so I decided that, hey, yeah, there we go. Well, I'll just put it over here next to the overgrown castle and then the bakery, which also is overgrown and everything. So I think it worked out pretty good. I love the idea of putting like these little crates, whatever the fuck these things are called. What are these even called? They're called small picket boxes. I love the idea of putting a small picket box down and then covering it in plants and just covering it all over as if like there was plants inside this little small picket box a long time ago, and then obviously they stopped caring for it and stopped, you know, watering it and trimming it and everything else, and it just overgrew and it took over and it just started breaking out of the box and everything else. And that's kind of the idea behind that. But other than that, I don't believe there's pretty much anything else on the island. Here's a zoomed out shot of everything all at once. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. There you go. There is that. You can script. Oh, wait, no, hang on. There's one more thing. Holy shit, I can't believe I forgot this. Someone wanted an Among Us reference, so I hid this right over here. It's a little Among Us person, a little crewmate, or I guess embossed or whatever else like that, made out of apples, and they're carrying a knife. So there you go. I made a knife monster after all because it's the little Among Us guy. So there you go. Now it is complete. There is the end of the video now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.